The latest pregame segment here on WardyNYM, as it is officially rivalry, folks, and rivalry week, folks. That's what I meant to say. And even though that, yes, this very well could be a lopsided rivalry this season, I'm still very amped and very excited to get into this 4-game stretch in Atlanta against the Atlanta Braves. In today's show, we'll be going over the lineups as you see left and right. What do the Atlanta Braves have? What do the Mets have? Are we loving? Are we not liking the Mets lineup? I want to see yay or nay in the live chat. People watching on replay. Same applies in the comments down below. From there, we're going to get into the key pitching matchups as Julio Teheran toes the rubber, not for the Atlanta Braves, but against his former club in the Atlanta Braves in Atlanta against the veteran right-hander and Charlie Morton. Let's make sure Charlie doesn't hit Pete Alonso this time in the hand or wrist area. That would be great, Charlie. Thank you so much in advance. And then we'll wrap up the show by getting into my favorite picks of the day in the betting space. Of course, thanks to our amazing sponsor here at BetUS. But before I get into all that, I appreciate everyone for chiming in live on a replay. If you're watching here on YouTube, make sure to smash that like and subscribe button. Really does mean a lot. We're oh so close to our next short-term goal, just right around 50 subs away from 25K subscribers, folks. Smash those buttons for the most consistent coverage on all things Mets all season long here on WardyNYM, and we're going to be doing a big giveaway when that happens. We're doing a little giveaway where I'm giving away $25 to the first 5 people that email me, thanks to our great friends at BetUS that are in fact betting with BetUS and are sending me their account info to my email that I have linked in the live show here on YouTube. What I mean is, again, the first 5 people to email me, just sending me their BetUS account that I can see, their account number to know that you had and you signed up. I will then hook you up shortly after with $25 in free play to the first 5 people that do it. So far, we only have 1 person that has done it. 4 more entry slots that you guys and gals can enter, again, if you are in fact a sports bettor like me, and of course bet responsibly. But like I said, we have a lot to get into. For people watching this on Twitter, make sure to hit that like button, that follow button, and retweet, all that great stuff, and know that I will only be interacting with the live chat here on YouTube. So again, really appreciate it, folks. Thank you all so much, and happy Monday to you all, folks. We got a jam-packed week of Metropolitan coverage here on the channel, as it is a jam-packed week just in general for myself. I got not only the pregame show we're going to wrap up the pregame show probably right around 5:35, 5:40ish. From there, right around 6 p.m. Eastern, I will be live on the Bleacher Report app for a brand new segment that'll be interacting with you, the live viewers, myself, and an awesome co-host as well that many of you in the baseball community know. So make sure you chime in on the Bleacher Report app. Just go to MLB News, and then right around 6 p.m., myself and my co-host, we will be live for a new weekly segment. So excited to unveil that. And then after that, we of course have the Mets-Braves game at 7:20, and I'll be live for post-game coverage shortly after the conclusion of tonight's game. Win, lose, draw, whatever transpires. So I do see a lot of beauties. Let me address them here in the live chat before we go further. I see Josh, how you doing? Strider's out. Is there an update on Spencer Strider? I just know that, yes, he unfortunately has damage to his UCL, but there has been a further status update that I've heard to this point, so let me know if I'm wrong on that one. D-Ron, how you doing? Josh, what's up? White Mike, let's see, the Back It Up Binge podcast, how you doing? Love the O's as always. Depressed Mr. Met, how you doing? Let's see, Jordan Simpson, the best Mets fan you'll ever meet. Love this man to death. He helped make the awesome post-game jingle that you guys and gals heard in yesterday's show. Shout out to you, Jordan. Hope you're doing well. Yoshima, great member as always. Everybody for Shaman and Matthew. James, great member. Sean, going down the list. KH, appreciate you being in here as always, my friend. And of course, he's not going to hold anything back. If there's sports betting, there's going to be complaining. It is what it is. We move forward. Robert, how you doing? I know we got our Braves fans in here too, and I know that Braves fans always look forward to when I talk about your team, right? Truthfully, again, the Braves need to pick it up. I have yet to find a Braves YouTuber that covers solely the Braves, isn't part of, say, the Locked On Network or something, and is doing post-game coverage like this consistently, is killing it. If there are people out there, let me know, because I would be more than willing to collaborate with some Braves creators later on this year too, if need be. Really would love to see more in the space for sure. How's it going? Cantu, really happy to have you in here. You're the Go PK, appreciate you, but we got ourselves a big discussion. The Mets, the Braves. This has definitely been a lopsided rivalry that we have unfortunately seen over the past year and a half. Really, again, since the second half of 2022, after that huge 4-game set at Citi Field where DeGrom pitched in the doubleheader. Since then, it has been downhill big time between the Mets and the Braves, where it's been a lopsided affair. The Braves is one of, if not the best team in Major League Baseball, have of course toyed with this Mets team in many ways in heartbreaking fashion. And now I guess if there's one good thing that I appreciate about doing this show versus what going back to 2022 is that the expectation level is so different between these two teams that I'm not out here, screaming and kicking and crying and expecting the Mets to win 3 out of 4. If they do, I'll be ecstatic. I'll be happy. Truthfully, I will just be happy if the Mets can muster at best a split in the series. If they can win 3 out of 4, awesome. If they win just 1 out of the 4, that wouldn't shock me at all. And if they get swept, that certainly wouldn't shock me either. Any scenario that would shock me would quite literally be anything beyond the Mets splitting this series. So, as you know, my bar is fairly low on the expectation front, but that isn't because of the fact that I don't love my Mets. It's just being a realist at the end of the day, knowing how the Mets stack up right now through their first 9 games versus how the Braves stack up, who just swept the Arizona Diamondbacks, the same Diamondbacks team that 48 hours or so ago had a 6-0 lead in the first inning against the same Atlanta Braves team. But former Met, soon-to-be Met killer here probably in the series, and Jared Kelenic, former top pick, part of the coveted Edwin Diaz and Robinson Cano trade. Yeah, screw Robbie, we all know about that part. Regardless, Kelenic with a 3-hit game a couple days ago that helped them rally against the D-backs there. He's looking for a big series against the team that drafted him. And the Mets are just trying to get their footing straight. Again, they won 2 out of 3 in Cincy in what was not an impressive series by any stretch. They just got the job done. They did what they needed to do. And now we move forward into, again, this key matchup in Atlanta. I guess the only upside is we finally have some nice weather. I feel like the Mets haven't had any nice weather at all throughout their first 9 games. So that's a plus at least. I know everyone was staring up in the sky, including myself, looking at the freaking the eclipse that was going on just for me in Pennsylvania to have a very cloudy day. So it was really hard to see. I know we saw some people that were like, I'm going to stare into the sun even if I don't have glasses. Some fared well, others fared not so well. So I don't know where you guys and gals were on that front as well. Let me know. Were you outside staring, looking up like a schmuck like me today for a couple minutes saying, all right, what's going on here? Or are you just ready for some Metropolitan baseball today? Let me hear it. Really appreciate it, guys. Charles, how you doing? Eddie, how you doing as well? My man Anthony at the Subway to Shape podcast. Make sure you guys and gals subscribe to him on YouTube and wherever you get podcasts. You're going to see plenty of Anthony on the channel this year that we're very excited about. But first, let's talk about a bit more of this series. I'm a Braves fan, but my girlfriend works for the Mets. Mets, please get your shit together. Yes, for your sake. I hope that's the case, PK. I actually love that. Shout out to your girlfriend. What a beauty. She works with the Mets. Love to hear that. Awesome. Opposites attract sometimes. I've got some loyal followers here too that are the same exact way where they have, I'm a Mets fan, my girlfriend's a Braves fan. Don't ask me how it works. Maybe they like toxicity in the relationship, whatever it is, to each their own, all right? So I want to break down these laps first and foremost, folks, but let's start with the lineup that we know is talented. We know is arguably the best in baseball. We know was the best in Major League Baseball in history last year, just for them to fall flat on their face, unfortunately. Not for me, but for Braves fans. And let's talk about the Atlanta Braves for a second, because as a matchup against the Mets today, it is the following. Hotlanta, Ronald Acuna Jr. batting leadoff again. Slow start to the season thus far, but all it takes is a 4-game set against a Metropolitan club to really get you right. And I'm not saying that I wish it. I'm just saying that, expecting that. Ozzie Albies batting second. Honestly, one of the most underrated players in Major League Baseball. For a while, he seemed overhyped, but Ozzie Albies, with his offensive ability, what he can do at second base, the only thing that sets Ozzie back is just his defensive upside that we've seen, but offensively, he's an absolute stud. We know that. Such a great young player on truly an illegal contract. He should not have signed that contract. Same thing with Acuna, but I digress. He's batting second. Batting third is arguably the best third baseman in Major League Baseball. If he's not named Jose Ramirez, his name is going to be, in fact, Austin Riley there at the hot corner. Batting third, Matt Olson with over 1,000 OPS, who I do anticipate to have a big series, and unfortunately against our Mets. I'm going to emphasize that a bit more in today's segment on Bleacher Report. Be on the lookout for that. Again, 6 p.m. Eastern, I'll be live in the Bleacher Report app to break down a whole new segment with myself and an awesome fellow guest. Not even guest, I should just say co-host, because we're going to be doing this thing together along with the live chat in the BR app, which will be a lot of fun for community interaction and things of that nature. But Matt Olson's batting fourth. Marcell Ozuna, who absolutely everybody hates, for obvious reasons. He's batting 5th. Batting 6th is Michael Harris II. Again, an electrifying young center fielder who does it all. Batting 7th is Orlando Arcia, who, did a great job of making the Braves look like the LO Braves towards the end of last season as he was having his reactions in Philly in the dugout. Oh, they ate him alive, and I enjoyed every second of that. Here's the former Met, now Met killer, and Travis d'Arnaud batting 8th. And batting 9th, the former Met, soon-to-be Met killer more than likely, Jared Kelenic here, roughly 1,400 OPS throughout the first couple games of the season. That's what happens when you are in as deep of a lineup as the Braves are, and you're batting 9th. That definitely helps. You're going to see some pitches and take advantage. He certainly has. Charlie Morton, again, what feels like he's, 40 now, or close to 39. He's definitely in that range. Morton still getting the job done. Let's just make sure he doesn't hit Alonso today. Before I get on to the Mets lineup here, I do have a donation I'd like to address. Thank you so much, Zach Flakerton in the chat. Really appreciate it. I've taken a break watching this team for a while, but we're planning on doing a standing O for Lindor. I'll get a ticket for a game. I love that. Shout out to Zach as well. Zach's like, you know what? I've been out of it with the Mets lately, but I'm still going to make sure I attend the game so I can do a standing O for Francisco Lindor. And that is the kind of mentality I absolutely love. Thank you so much for that donation, Zach. Hype in the chat to you, my friend. Appreciate the love, PK. It means a lot. Good day, Brooklyn Mets. How are you, my friend? Long time no see. Explosive Mr. Chicken. Everyone watching live on YouTube. Happy to have you on here as we break it down together, folks. And I'll just say this. On the standing O front, yes, I'm in favor of it. Yes, I hope to see it happen in that Kansas City Royals series where the Mets are home next, I'm pretty sure. That also is the soonest we can see JD Martinez in this lineup, as he needs a couple days off in the minor leagues, as, again, quite literally, he's an old grizzled vet. He's on the latter half of 30 now, 36 if I'm not mistaken. He's dealing with the daily soreness that he gets because he didn't have a proper spring ramp up. That's why he's not going to be in the series against the Braves. That's why he will not be with the Mets for probably a week still. But JDM is still working his way back to be in this Mets line, batting cleanup or batting fifth every single day. Cannot wait to see that happen. But until then, folks, the Mets, as we look at that homestand, I hope, and I truly hope, that we see a bunch of fans do the standing O for Lindor. I would love if they did it for Alonso and everyone pretty much. Do it for the entire lineup, you might as well, because of how inconsistent it's been if you're not named Francisco Alvarez, Starling Marte, and Brett Beatty over the past number of days. If you're not named those guys, and even Lindor with this breakout game yesterday, let's call it a buck. It's just been one game. I want to see more consistency there, but I'm all for the standing O. And simply put, why not? You literally have nothing to lose by doing such a thing, in my humble opinion. But now let's talk about the Mets lineup today, folks. And now everybody watching this live here and also watching on Twitter, wherever you're watching, let me know. Is this a yay or a nay lineup in the Mets chat? Pardon me, not in the Mets chat, in the Mets lineup right now. Because as we look at the Mets lineup, everybody, let me know if you're in for or against it with a simple yay or nay in the live chat. People on replay, same applies. Mets have WardyNYM for the first time this season, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, batting first and in center field. Nimmo will get the start in center field just a couple days removed from having an off day because he hurt his hammy in that Detroit Tigers doubleheader. Came back, was fine for the Red Series, as we know. But Brandon Nimmo is batting leadoff in center field today. Francisco Lindor batting second with a 403 OPS. Batting third is Pete Alonso with a 567 OPS. He has not hit since the Detroit Tigers series for the most part. Francisco Alvarez with a 935 OPS because he's an absolute dog. They're batting fourth cleanup at catcher. Brett Beatty, who's batting just under 300 with a 740 OPS, is at the hot corner. He's looked great both offensively and defensively. And this is the same Brett Beatty that did hit his first home run in Atlanta against those Braves. The only difference is that I'm pretty sure he ripped it off of Jake Odorizzi if it wasn't Charlie Morton. But aside from that, Beatty, hopefully we see more offensive production in Atlanta against those Braves. Starling Marte batting sixth. He's looked very strong to start the year, both offensively and defensively, and his speed on the base pass. He stole a couple bags the other day. 745 OPS in right field. Batting seventh is the one man who has quite literally done nothing to this point, and that is DJ Stewart there with his 375 OPS in the DH spot. DJ righty-lefty matchup. This guy has looked overpowered every single game so far this season. I would certainly like to see that change sooner rather than later, especially with him likely being with the Mets now until JDM is with the team. And now is where you can make, honestly, a little bit more of a proper argument if you wanted to maybe see Mark Vientos make the Mets off the rip. there's a stronger argument now, mainly because JDM is now with the Mets as soon as what they maybe initially thought was possible, or, just what they were hoping for, rather. It's at minimum a week longer than that, and potentially even more. So it is what it is. DJ Stewart, he's been a glaring hole in this lineup. Just give me a hit today, DJ. The bar's low. Just do something. Jeff McNeil, of course, batting eighth. Starting in left field today, both Tyrone Taylor and Harrison Bader will be coming off the bench. Interesting, something we haven't seen so far this year, but based on the matchup, based on the history for McNeil against Morton, and honestly others in this lineup, goes in hand with why Carlos Mendoza, David Stearns made the decisions that they did for today's matchup against the Braves. And batting ninth again is Joey Wendell. I never want to see Joey Wendell in the lineup. I'm sorry. Even if Joey Wendell has great numbers against Charlie Morton, while it can be justified, I still don't want him starting. So as long as Joey Wendell's in the starting lineup, I'm always going to have a gripe with it. The 7, 8, 9 looks like a lot of glaring holes. Hopefully that's not the case tonight, but I'm expecting them to have a lack of production there. I hope that they prove me wrong. But let me see in the chat now how you guys feel. We got some yays. We got some nays too. Yay minus DJ Stewart, but not much we can do about that exactly. Our hands are kind of tied at the moment. Speaking of which, I meant to mention it earlier in the show, everybody. The Mets did call up reliever Cole Sulzer that they signed to a minor league deal this offseason, and they have DFA'd Yohan Ramirez. Yes, the man that the Mets threw out there to throw at Rhys Hoskins like the idiots that we were when it was already too little too late. Suspended 8 innings, got absolutely worked coming in for the 8th that we saw a couple days ago in that Reds implosion. He's now DFA'd. Yohan Ramirez doesn't have bad stuff. He's DFA'd though because, again, he is replaceable. The Mets need a guy that is more fresh, that can eat innings for them if need be. And this shows you, again, the recycling door that we have of David Stearns and his philosophy with the bullpen. The Mets have an abundance of riches with guys in AAA that they can call up and just see what they have. And if they don't work out, then they can part with them and they can call up someone else. So they're going to have this, again, this revolving door, if you will, of these relievers all season long. And Yohan Ramirez, Michael Tonkin, 2 guys have already been DFA now. Those are 2 of the key innings eaters for the Mets so far this season. So now to be curious to see who will fill those voids in the coming days. And we'll also find out if Michael Tonkin stays in the organization, if he, say, opts out of his deal possibly, if he's picked up by, say, his former team in the Atlanta Braves, or if he goes outright to Syracuse. The same applies with Yohan Ramirez, too. Again, the Mets acquired this offseason from the White Sox, got him for a bag of baseballs, looked great in spring, has looked horrendous so far that we've seen this season, aside from his 7th inning against the Reds. And not that you should put too much stock into this early production, but knowing that you also want to make sure that you have as many fresh arms as possible in the pen, and you also don't want to have guys in there that you feel like are more of a net negative than a net positive this early in the year. David Stearns made his decisions for the right reasons, hopefully, so we'll find out on that front. But Yohan Ramirez is the latest DFA victim for the Mets, as he's no longer, as of today, in the Metropolitan bullpen. I'm disappointed in your performance in Jeopardy, Yoshima. That's so funny. In case you didn't check it out, I was in a Jeopardy skit on Driving Mark's channel back when I was in Port St. Lucie a month ago with Jim at Ball Cop Sports, Robbie Hyde, and my man Mike from Stark Raven Sports. Shout out to Mike for being the biggest schmuck and being like a human encyclopedia when all of us were just like, duh. Like, there were some questions that we all had the answer to, but we just didn't have a quick response time. That was the issue. There were many questions where I knew and I wasn't able to say in time. Mike beat us in plenty of them. And then there were others where I just pulled some answers out of my ass. Like, seriously, if you watch the video, if you haven't, make sure you do. The fact that I managed to guess Sean Newcomb properly being on the Oakland A's when I had no clue what team he was on in the bigs, that was completely pulled out of thin air, and I completely forgot Sean Newcomb's name, but I remembered him because of his time with the Atlanta Braves and because of the Mets rocking him in the 2022 season in particular. So it's locked in there somewhere, but yes, I appreciate that donation. Thank you so much, my friend. Really does mean a lot. Let's see what you guys got for me. Cozy, you are the GOAT, my man. Happy to have you in here. Let's see, folks. Yay or nay in the lineups here. Let's see. It's a blackout game for me. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. That's definitely not fun. I hate when games get blacked out. Never a good time. But yes, there is a level of optimism for sure, but this is overall what we're getting between the Mets and the Braves in this matchup. And I cannot be too long-winded with my pregame show today, everybody, because like I said, I got a Bleacher Report segment around 6, so be on the lookout for that one. But in the meantime, now let's talk about the pitching matchup, okay? Let's get into the pitching matchup. The Mets today, offensively, you know what you got to do. Give me more than 3 runs, please. Get up early on Charlie Morton. My expectations for this series are fairly low. Have it be competitive baseball. Have them be tight games. win or lose, whatever. Just keep yourself at these ball games. I would appreciate it if 3 out of the 4 games were in complete blowouts. Again, we have the talent to a degree to at least keep ourselves in these ball games and be competitive. We know how good the Braves are. But again, catch them slipping too. If you have to play small ball, if you have to do things that are frustrating for Atlanta, like we've seen in years past, do whatever you have to do. Just try to do your best to ultimately squander some wins. 1 or 2, I'm a happy camper. Anything above that, awesome. Anything below that, I'm bummed, but I'm not overly shocked. I mean, it's kind of what we expected to a degree, right? And yes, I did hear about the jerseys as well. That is one final thing I would like to share with you all, folks. The Mets did show a sneak peek of their City Connect jerseys that'll be releasing April 19th. And yes, purple is involved. So regardless on where you stand, if you're in favor of the color purple, against, I have no clue if it's just going to be a little bit of purple. If the jersey main color is going to be purple, I think gray will be involved as well with how they went about the graphic. They're literally showing bridge, and then there was a little if you know, you know graphic, and then they changed the Mets, NY logo from orange to purple. Obviously, they were doing that because of the 7 train, because the 7 train is purple, their logo. So there's some type of connection there. I'm excited to see what it's going to be. I can't imagine it'll be worse than what we saw happen with the Phillies right now, doing their best Seattle Mariners impression with how those jerseys look for the City Connects. I know there's going to have a lot of people that hate them. I think the concept's going to be great. I'm just concerned on the execution because of how these jerseys have been made so far this season. So we'll find out what happens on the jersey front, but just around 10 days away from finding out what they're going to look like. Purple in the jersey, I actually think is pretty cool. I love the color purple. Black and purple especially, I think looks sick. Gray and purple's okay, but I'm just thinking too much of the Rockies right away. Or almost thinking of, the Mother's Day jerseys when they've been gray and pink, so I'm hoping that isn't exactly like that. Just hoping for creativity. The same way I'm hoping for creativity from this Mets offense, to say the least. But now let's get into the pitching matchup, folks, because again, we got Julio Teheran facing off against his former club now in Atlanta. Mind you, Julio Teheran has some of the most starts in this ballpark in Atlanta Braves history. I think he's 2nd or 3rd ranked in the franchise history and the amount of starts there in Atlanta in their park. So this is awesome, at least in the sense that Julio has a lot of familiarity here. This is probably the most comfortable place he could be for his first start of his season with the new team. The downside is that the comfortability goes in hand with being a former teammate with a lot of these guys that know his playbook right off the top of their hand. This is not an overwhelming guy in Teheran. He doesn't throw too hard. He's working on his breaking and off-speed stuff heavily to get his outs. Not a big strikeout guy either. With the Brewers last year, 70 innings, just over 4 ERA, 4.4, 4.9 expected ERA. Not pretty numbers, but an innings eater for you that had just over a 6 K per 9, so strikeouts per 9, and a little over a 1 walks per 9. Actually was one of the best pitchers in Major League Baseball in his walks per 9 last year, so hopefully Julio can have a strong command of the zone today. But Julio Teheran, who we know, again, is going to go probably 4 innings. Julio ball for guys like Jose Buto, who are on their contract there in Syracuse. So he cannot be called up again until earliest April 12th, barring any changes because of potential injury. And because of this reason, that is why Buto will not be with the Mets throughout this series, unless there's, basically a phantom IL, which wouldn't shock me. Just got to make sure you don't get caught the way that Epler did and go forward, right? So Julio Teheran, again, My bar is fairly low. Same thing with the Mets this entire series. You saw him just strike out Matt Olson there on a ball that was out of the zone. Look at these guys. Actually, just look at it with me. This is Julio Teheran to the left, getting some outs, getting some strikeouts against his former club there last season in the Atlanta Braves. In Atlanta as well. Continue looking at these Ks. He struck out Olson. He struck out Ozzie. He struck out now who's a national there in Eddie Rosario. More of that, please. I would love to see that, Julio. So if there's one thing that I guess is a little comforting, it's also nice to know that Julio has pitched in Atlanta with a different team. So it's not like this is his first time there since he was a pitcher in the organization, right? So let's see. Volume is going in and out. Oh, apologies on that, everybody. Bear with me 1 second. How's the audio, everybody? Is it good? Is it still glitchy? Let me know. Let me know if the audio is good or if it's still glitchy in the live chat, folks. Thank you all so much. Appreciate it. D-Ron, thank you so much, my friend. I appreciate that. Audio's fine? Audio not working? Audio's fine? Let me know, guys. Still not working. Okay, hold on. Got some people saying works well, in and out, in and out. Hold on, let me hear it for myself. It's still glitchy in the live chat, folks. Thank you all so much. Hold on, everybody. Hold on, everybody. Hold on, folks. Yeah, I don't know what's happening right now. I don't know why we're having glitching issues. Do you guys hear me at least? Clearly, it's something on my end. It's not stuff on your end, folks. Okay, now we're good. You should be able to hear me now. I don't know why that buffered. I apologize. We're not going to be that much more long-winded with the show, but I do just want to ask everybody, again, watching this live, watching this on replay, whatever it may be, between Julio Teheran and Charlie Morton, who do you have as the better starting pitching performance today? No, naturally, I'm going to pick Charlie Morton, but Julio, I'm rooting hard for you, brother. Give me 4 strong. Just keep the Mets in it. That is all I am asking. Loud and clear. Awesome. Happy to hear that. Thank you so much. Let me know, guys and gals, how do you feel about this pitching matchup? Who do you think is going to be the best between the two? Between, yes, Charlie Morton and Julio Teheran. Naturally, I'm going to favor Morton here, but I hope that Teheran can just keep the Mets in this ball game. Sound is not there? Oh, yeah, you're right. You're right. It is going in and out. Everybody, hold on. Hold on, folks. Know why it keeps we're gonna end it soon, guys. I apologize. Hopefully we don't have these issues later, but I will do my best to stay on top of it. Let me just see here. We're gonna end it soon. Oh, okay. Drop frames and tech. Okay, yeah, something's been happening. I don't know why, but something's been going on. Sorry about that, folks. Let's talk now. If the live show will even continue properly. Let me see if it's even running still. Am I good now? Again, it's been this constant on and off. I've been speaking up, everybody. So for whatever reason, the audio's been going in and out. Okay. My pick, drop frames detected to a okay. I think we're just going to have to end this, unfortunately. Something's happening. We good? It's on and off for you too? I'm going to try to steamroll through this, and then we'll be done. My 3-pick parlay of the day, folks. Arizona Diamondbacks in Colorado against the Rockies. -1.5, -120 odds. I love that against Kyle Freeland, who's been off to a brutal start to the season. I'm taking the D-backs there to score at least a couple runs and win, and that's at -120 odds. Pair that with the San Francisco Giants, a hot Michael Conforto batting against the Washington Nationals, and Trevor Williams in this series, -215 odds outright for them to win in San Francisco against the Nationals tonight. I love that. And then last but not least, my closest pick of the day is the LA Dodgers going to Minnesota against, yes, the Minnesota Twins. They're currently at -122 odds on BetUS for that. So I'm going to pair those 3. That is my 3-leg parlay of the day. My apologies, everybody, again, if we're having connection issues. Hopefully that isn't the problem again later on. But I am about going to wrap up the show. My pick of the day, again, is the Arizona Diamondbacks there. I don't know why I've been having this connection issue. It's very bizarre to me. Again, it's been fluctuating in and out. Apologies for that. Make sure to check out BetUS by clicking the link down below. That way you too get your first 3 deposits with a 125% boost. And again, we are doing, as I mentioned once more, to the first 5 people that just email me with my email in the link in the description down below to email me and send me your BetUS account number. All you got to do, just confirming that you have a BetUS account,